Okay, today we are going to talk about addiction. All right, addiction is something that you really have no control over. It's something that you can't help. It's just something you need to do or need to have in your lives. Okay, you guys are in 8th grade. I'm sure you've done a little bit with this in earlier years, health class. What I'd like is I'd like everybody to just get into groups of 2 or 3. Take a minute, just come up with a couple ideas of what you guys think addiction might be. Okay, so take a minute. I'm just going to walk around and listen to some of you guys' ideas, and we'll get back together. All right, so let's wrap up our thoughts. Group in the back, what did you find?
Drugs.
Drugs. Drugs is a really good one. It's one of the most popular addictions that society knows of. Good one. Group in the front, how about you?
Hoarding.
Hoarding. Yes, I'm sure you've all seen the TLC show Hoarding. For those people, it is an addiction. It's a disorder, and that's something. Yeah, that's a good example. I mean, all jokes aside, that's a really big one. And those people's lives, are drastically different than how they could have been. Good. Okay. Those are two. Hoarding is a little off the mainstream, but other than hoarding, other ones. Can anybody think of any other ideas? Yeah.
Smoking.
Smoking is really good. Smoking, drugs, alcohol. All 3 of those they seem to get lumped together. And you guys have all done the DARE program when you guys were in 5th grade. So you know a little bit about kind of drugs and alcohol and how that can affect you. We actually just wrapped up that video talking about the probation agent saying how that they see that on a day-to-day basis. So that's a really important one. Another one people don't see, food. Okay. Food is something that can go either way. Some people are addicted to food where they can't stop eating. Okay, that leads to obesity, which we've already talked about in previous lessons. That's absolutely an addiction. It's a disorder. Another one that's kind of on the flip side is working out. Okay, working out is people who they don't eat and they just want to run or lift weights, and they're so concerned about their body that they actually truly are addicted to not eating and working out. Okay, everybody, to work out is good. We talk about that almost every day. That's our main goal. But for some of these people, they can't not work out for more than 6 hours a day. It's like that's just all they do. That's all they think about. Okay, so that's a good addiction too, or a bad addiction. That's a good example. So we talked about drugs, alcohol, tobacco, hoarding, food. Another one that you guys will kind of start to get into is work. All right, everybody wants a job. Everybody needs to work hard at their job, but there's a time and a place to say no. Okay, if you have too much on your plate and you can't do it, and this is a serious, severe case. This isn't like, oh, I want to go home. If you truly are just overworked to the point of you're exhausted, you can't do anything more. That some people are addicted to work and their job, and that costs them a lot of stuff at home. Some people cost them marriage, families, all that stuff, and that's an important one. Okay. Some examples, kind of more off the beaten path, are some of those things that we just kind of alluded to. I wanna touch base a little bit on the video that we watched last class. I know we never really got a chance to kind of talk about it at the end. The hour kind of ran short. When the agent came on the video was talking, they talk about stuff. They see all the negative effects come from addiction, and the big 3 that I want to kind of talk about today are the drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. When you go down that road, it's very slippery slope. You see people's lives drastically changed. They talked about DWIs, DUIs, drinking when you're driving, too intoxicated to drive. All right. Can anybody tell me what was the blood alcohol content in the video? Yeah, group in the back. What was it?
That the student or that the guy had when he got a DWI?
Yep.
I think he was like a .07.
No, the actual limit is .08. So that's close, but yeah, you want to have your blood alcohol. If it's over .08, you're considered too intoxicated to drive. And if they would have been .07, you know, they would have technically been legal, but that's still a little bit too close to call. If, when you guys are older and you're old enough to have these kind of beverages, you need to make sure that you have a ride home, okay? Last year we just saw in the news, we read some current events in the class previous about a prom incident gone wrong. Somebody was drinking and driving, and somebody in the car, when they got in the accident, got killed. You know, nobody wanted that to happen, but that's just kind of one of the effects, and those people saw some real jail time. So that's kind of a big deal, and it's something that you need to learn how to say no to, okay? So can somebody think of, if somebody offered you cigarettes or tobacco or alcohol, what's something, where's somewhere you could turn to other than maybe your parents that could help you out? Yeah, look in the front.
A teacher or like your family members?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all of those are good. A teacher, absolutely. You come to one of us, an administrator, a counselor, that's absolutely going to help find a solution for your problem, okay? If you're too ashamed or too embarrassed or you think you might be in trouble by talking to somebody in your family, then come talk to us at school, and we will gladly find a solution for the problem and help you. We're not here to get you in trouble. We're here to try and keep you safe, keep everything around you safe, in a healthy environment, okay? So, you know, the legal smoking age is 18. So I know in the high school they have, you know, a few incidences every year where kids are chewing or smoking in school, and they get in some serious trouble for that, and they have to do a work program where they get picked up at the end of the school day, and they have to go clean hockey arenas and, you know, do other community service stuff. And, you know, if you want to do community service, obviously that's a great thing. I'm not saying don't do that, but it shouldn't be a punishment for a stupid decision, okay? Tobacco, same thing kind of we touched on. Alcohol, to me, is the one that kind of is the biggest red flag, and I worry about the most, because you see incidents like last year with the prom situation a few towns down, okay, that, you know, that lives are drastically changed. People are in jail, people are no longer with us, families are just affected in so many different ways. And I think it's really important that you've had the DARE program, okay, you've talked about it in 6th and 7th grade, and now we talk about it, especially going into high school, where people are having get-togethers, somebody brings an alcohol beverage there. Okay, it's really important to say no to that kind of stuff. All right, we have some athletes in the room. You know, we've got a basketball player back there, and you guys need to know that there's a zero tolerance for that kind of stuff in the school district and around the state. You know, it's automatic. 2 games or 20% of your season depending on, you know, what sport you're in, and I think the coaches stand by that. You know, there really is an expectation, and there's no really place for it here at Monticello High School and Monticello Middle School. So, like I said, we've got some people that you can talk to. You can talk to teachers, counselors, coaches, parents, if you don't feel comfortable with them, you know, any of the above. Really just anybody. And if you have these issues or you have questions or you want to know more, make sure you're coming and talking to somebody. Don't just hold it in and feel and succumb to the peer pressure. Really make sure you're trying to be proactive for yourself and stand up for yourself, because at the end of the day, we want you to be happy, healthy kids, okay? So we're going to get on with the lesson. Kind of the talk of addiction is really over right now. I'm glad we got to talk in some groups. I really heard some good things. We're going to get you guys up and get you moving now. So addiction's done. We're going to move on here to nutrition, all right? So good job. Let's go outside.